Sasol has launched a new biosludge fertiliser plant. The company environmental technology manager, Sarushen Pillay, is on the line now to explain more about the project and potentially the project only, Sarushen. Just to make it clear, we do understand that you're not at liberty to talk about the share price movement or oil price, but tell us about this project as well as the innovation behind it.
Thanks, Google. I think the main driver for Sasol has been changes in the Air Quality and Waste Act, which has led us to now look at other sustainable ways of dealing with our waste stream. Currently, Sasol deals with our waste streams by either incinerating the wastes or sending them to landfills. And part of our research and technology program was to look at developing sustainable ways of dealing with waste. Now, the composting process uses microbes, so they're actually bacteria that in the presence of a food source are able to convert these waste streams into a fertilizer. And part of the process is to grow a food source, which is what we call a bulking agent, to keep these microbes alive. And the full-scale process will treat about 200,000 tons per year of our waste, and we'll need to cultivate a farm, which is about 2,000 hectares in size. And in doing so, we'll also create about 150 jobs.
So it almost sounds as though there's a circle here, the beneficial circle that this has to employ. But is this something that maybe Sasol is looking to deploy into other areas? In other words, can you make a profit off of this kind of innovation?
At the moment, we're not looking to convert this into money. It's more a way of us sustainably dealing with our waste. And part of the sustainability aspect is to look at enterprise development and job creation in the synfuels area. We currently have tested it in Secunda and on Secunda waste streams, but later on we will look at rolling it out into our plant in Sasolburg and possibly our international plants as well.
What about the cost benefit?
Well, the cost benefit is massive because to currently deal with these wastes, we pay a lot either to burn them, and it's quite expensive to incinerate, or to send them to a landfill. And by composting, we transfer that into a very low capital. It's almost like a farming operation. It is labor intensive, but the capital costs are very much reduced.
Are you able to quantify these at all, Sarushen?
No, we're actually in the phase now where part of the process is to look at what those costs are to run a 2,000 hectare farm. Sasol we would not want to be the ones operating that farm. We would rather look at developing new entrants into the market to then manage that farm.
We also know that from an environmental perspective, regulations are getting tighter and stricter. Has this put Sasol in a position maybe to become a little bit more innovative with ideas when it comes to environmental regulation?
Absolutely. I mean, this story will help, or this process will help us reduce our air emissions. So the waste that we currently send to incineration will no longer go there, and will therefore improve our air quality. And the wastes that are currently going to landfills, which have a long legacy, we will stop sending them into landfills. And by using the compost to grow this bulking agent, we actually will also experience a CO2 benefit by sequestrating carbon. So this is, it wins on all the environmental fronts.
And just on the regulation, are you liaising with government to find an easier way of implementing these rules?
Absolutely. So government has been part of the process, and we've involved the Department of Environmental Affairs right from the start of the process, and they've actually already been to our compost site 4 times this year, so they're advising us on the regulatory framework and the standards. It is a little bit new to them because composting of industrial sludges is something that's quite novel, and that's why we've decided to pull them in right at the beginning. And they are walking this road with us. So we're in the process now where we applying for an environmental impact assessment and a waste management license, and they're part of that process.
Sarushen, you alluded to the fact earlier that you want this project to be able to run itself and maybe be a farm managed by other parties. Have you been in the process of identifying any particular partners here?
Not yet. So at the moment, part of the EIA is to identify the suitable lands, and the lands will be on land owned by Sasol. We have partnered with a biotechnology company called Solar Day to develop the composting process, but the farming aspect of that, we're still in that process. So we haven't identified the partner as yet.
Many thanks to Sarushen Pillay, who is Sasol's Environmental Technology Manager.